What is up, guys? I'm back here again with another one. In this video, I'll be sharing an easy way to approach the charts. This will definitely assist you in getting highly probable zones of interest for you to take your trades from. Sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Just trying to do, right? So right now, while we're on the weekly time frame, I would like to take this line here and I'm going to make it red, okay? The reason why I'm putting this line over here is that I can see that we had a level of support over here in the past, right? Some of you might not be able to see it, but as we scale down, it will become clear. It's a level of support that resulted in the market just shifting to the upside just like that. And you'll find on the daily time frame, this could have been a days or even more days of rejection. And what happened is we broke below, and we have retested that while we're on the weekly, and ever since we retested that, we've been selling. And so hence this also makes us realize that our sell bias is valid, right? We have a support turned resistance, and momentum is to the downside right now. Now, if we go to the daily time frame, hopefully things are a bit clearer. You realize that this is that level of support that I just picked up. You see, on the daily time frame, this is a level that price got into, and we tried to buy. We tried to buy until we finally broke. All right. And when we broke it like that, what has happened is that we came back and retested. And when we retested there, I want you to notice that there's also this selling order block, a really strong selling order block. Okay. This is the selling order block, right? And it even had an impulsive move to the downside like that. Now that we came back there, we've been selling ever since. Now, here's the thing. While we want to sell this market, we can't just press sell wherever, right? What you want to actually do is to consider your market structure. And this is what sometimes makes everything difficult. Sometimes makes it complex, because now you're faced with the understanding that the market is pushing to the downside and also having to look for a sell position. So we have said that when the market is pushing to the downside, essentially what happens is that we form lower highs and lower lows like that. Okay. So this would be your high, this would be your lower high, and this would be your lower high. And essentially what you want to do is to wait for price to come into the most recent high, and then you join this downward momentum. Okay. And, I'll tell you now for free that the highs that you want to operate at when the market is pushing to the downside is preferably where there are structure breaks. So what do I mean by structure breaks? So you can see that this was a low. Price pushed and broke that structure and came back into this high, and we pushed to the downside. This was also a low. Price pushed and it broke that structure, and it came back in there, and we continue. So sometimes when there's no structure break, you can place the trade, but it's somewhat a bit on the risky side. And this is just from back testing and also just stuff that I've started to implement. If you've been with me for a long period of time, you start realizing that, most of my zones, I am including the fact that there's a structure break there. All right. So now one has to investigate this movement to the downside, right? So I'm going to shade it. This is on the daily time frame. This is the market pushing its way to the downside. But I want you to notice one thing. It doesn't just go down easily, just like this. If it did that, man, we would all be billionaires. But within this movement is all those retracements and that market structure that we're going to have to consult. Now, if we head over to another lower time frame, let's use the H4 rather, you will realize that this is the push to the downside. And here's the thing now we have to start looking for those lower highs and structure breaks so that we can place trades, all right, while we push to the downside. Okay, so if we were to look at the genesis of the movement, which is somewhere around here, you notice that we pushed to the downside, we broke these structures, price revisited these highs, we went down. All right, we came again, created a high over here, we pushed to the downside, price broke these structures, and guess what? We entered this. So for those of you that are obviously on the trade setups platform, this is a trade that we took I think in the beginning of this week. And I remember saying to you guys that if price revisits this zone, we keep pressing sell positions because this was a most recent high. And I know for 2 attempts, we actually got this trade. I know most of you caught it, and I also caught it. It was also a nice one. And so that's what the market has been doing. It's just been respecting market structure, right? Even here, quite frankly, over here, we broke this structure here, these structures to the left here. And what that left us with was this most recent high here. And prices come back to those most recent highs, and it's actually been selling off. So here's the thing, one could have definitely waited for prices to come in here and look for entries. But if you look at volatility 101S, I actually have a deeper zone than that. And I'm going to explain to you why. Because see, the thing is, after an impulsive movement like that, when you see the market starting to do this usually signifies a weakness in the market. If the market wants to push to the downside, this is what you will get, okay? You will get a more impulsive nature movement and so forth. But after impulsive run and you see this type of congregation over here, it just shows weakness. What is actually essentially happening is that there's probably demand from the downside that is starting to interfere with this downward movement. So it is possible that these highs can start breaking, but we don't have to really be that pessimistic. For as long as we keep breaking structures, it's in our best interest really that we wait at the most recent high. So right now, remember, we said that our target is probably this green line, and we picked that up from the monthly time frame. So for us to get a setup, what would we preferably want? We would actually want price to break these structures right now. If it can break and significantly close, then we want the market to then retrace into these highs, and then we can place a sell position. But if it doesn't, right? If these structures don't break, you'll find that the market will go and find enough supply, right? For it to be able to finish the movement probably to that green level. And where would that enough supply be? It would mean that the market is pushing up, violently, probably trying to visit these levels of supply, and then we can get a rejuvenation. That's one way of looking at it. Why would I want to look at it that way? Is that there's also equal highs here. And, equal highs, most times in a market usually signify in areas for a trap. What do I mean? If they drive the market into here, you could be wanting to sell that, and then they break it. And once it's broken like that, there are people that are likely to push buy positions, and they buy straight into this order block, and then everything is a mess, all right? So we are very much sell biased, but it always becomes tricky when we've had a scenario where, everything has been by the book so far. I mean, like I've said to you, we've had the structure breaks, price returning to the highs, structure breaks, price returning to the highs. It's only a matter of time till they mess that whole scenario up and then still come. So that's something for you to look out for. But for now, what am I saying on volatility 101S is let's pay close attention to these structures. If we get a significant break, right, we know that we would want to wait for a retracement into these highs. And this also satisfies just what's happening in front of us, which is that the market is actually channeling to the downside. That would be the top of the channel. And right here, this is what we call the bottom of the channel.
Okay, so there you have it, guys. Try to approach various instruments using this method and backtest as much as possible. If you like what you see, feel free to contact me for my trading related services. My contact details are in the description of this video. Also, follow me on Instagram, where you'll keep in touch with what my team and I get up to in relation to our trading. Until next time, ciao.